Well, good afternoon. I am Christine Genovese. I am the Chief Growth Officer for Nutritional Frontiers and the World of Wellness, and we're coming to you live from the World of Wellness in chilly Pittsburgh. And it's definitely chilly because usually where I hang out, it's much warmer. My mom was really unkind, and that's unusual for her. She sent me a photo that she and my aunt were at the beach yesterday, and it was almost 80 degrees. So I am definitely missing the warmth. But I will tell you, even though it snows every time I come to Pittsburgh, truly, everyone's like, Christine, don't come anymore. But every time I come to Pittsburgh, it snows, and it's been cold enough that it's actually stayed on the ground and it stayed on the trees, and it really, to me, is like a blessing, you know, when you actually get to see snow and get that Christmas feel. So what I thought I would talk to you about today, if you don't know, besides being the Chief Growth Officer for Nutritional Frontiers, I am also the creator of the Soul Intelligence Method. And what that is, it's a bioenergetic healing method. So what does that mean? Well, bioenergetics was founded, a study that was documented actually in the 1950s by Dr. Alexander Lowen. And basically what it says is if physically you're not feeling well, then mentally and emotionally you're probably not feeling so hot. So to me that's kind of common sense, but they actually documented why. And it's because our body is all about frequency. We are all electrons, neutrons, protons vibrating in this electromagnetic field that we operate in. But we forget that because we're physical, we're corporal, and we feel separate. But when you really look at the body, we're mostly water, we've got electricity running through our body, and we are all energy and frequency. And so what I'm going to bring to you today is actually a webinar I did for our healthcare practitioners with Nutritional Frontiers not too long ago, and it's called The Future of Medicine is Frequency. And that isn't something that I coined. Believe it or not, Einstein himself said that. And today we're seeing how far frequency is helping to heal people. So I will talk a little bit about the Soul Intelligence Method towards the end. And if I have time, I might do a little bit of some of the Soul Intelligence magic and give you a little group session. Because we just had a big super full moon. I don't know if you noticed that or not, or if you felt it or not. But it was a pretty intense one, and there was a lot of things that needed to shed. So if you haven't taken advantage of the super full moons in particular about releasing, and this is the last big one of the year. So what does it mean to be a super full moon? For any of you astrology geeks out there or astronomy geeks, it's actually, we think that, you know, the moon just kind of goes around in this perfect circle around the Earth, but it's actually more of an ellipse. And so the reason why it appears so much bigger is it's actually closer to the Earth. And so we actually feel the energy from the moon. It's actually what's controlling the tides and the seasons. And we don't think about it, right? It's just this beautiful glowing object in the sky. But it actually really does impact us. As a matter of fact, I know a number of our practitioners that help treat people say that parasites in your body are activated by the full moon, and they become a lot more active in your body. So everything is affected by the moon. We just don't realize it. So at the end, I will probably do a little bit of a soul intelligence session, and we'll see if we can release anything you don't want to bring into the new year, okay? All right, so Phil, let's hit this presentation. Thank you. All right, so the future of medicine is frequency. I did explain who I am. I am the Chief Growth Officer for Nutritional Frontiers, but I also created the Soul Intelligence Method. And you may have known that I actually wrote a book. Here's my book, and I will sign it for anybody here in the World of Wellness that is interested in having me sign their book. Hello, Donna. Nice to see you. I wrote this book about a year ago now. I had a book tour in New York City, which was fantastic, called the Soul in the City Tour. It's been named Book of the Year by Best Holistic Life magazine. And it's also an LA Tribune bestseller. So I'm pretty proud of the work, and it's really documenting the method that I'm going to talk to you about, which is an energetic healing method. All right, so we're going to talk about the underlying causes of dis-ease in the body. The first thing is you got to know everybody and everything is energy, right? And when energy is no longer in motion, okay, that is emotion, right? When it's no longer in motion, that's when it pools in the body and it starts to cause dis-ease, dysfunction, or a dissonance in your frequency, and your body tells you something's wrong. So I really look at the physical body as a barometer to your subconscious mind. It's really telling you what's going on. So the first thing is getting to the root cause of all dis-ease in the body, which is really trapped energy, trauma, emotion, all of those things that our body really needs to release and hasn't released. So we're going to talk about that, how everything is energy. I'm going to give you some supporting data and research. I'm going to talk to you about how frequency healing is actually everywhere, and even places like the Cleveland Clinic are using energy and frequency to help heal people, and how we're using frequency to kill cancer cells. You heard it here, all right? And then we're going to talk a little bit about the soul intelligence method and some of the naturopathic protocols that I recommend to most of my patients and clients. So when we look at things that just won't heal, okay, there's usually a reason why we have to go to see a doctor for chronic conditions. And typically the underlying reason is that trapped energy and emotion that we're not really dealing with. So I partner with our healthcare providers to help move that energy up and out of the body so that the body actually is then able to take the nutrients in and the naturopathic solutions and heal itself. Because our bodies are amazing machines and they will heal. But the number one reason why we have chronic conditions that won't heal is stress, okay? We deal with way too much of it. And we don't even think of some things as stress. But when your cell phone like goes off, immediately you get a hit like, oh, do I want to answer that? Oh, do I want to take that call? You know, we have so many fight or flight responses in our day that stress is the number one reason why we get our energy, our emotions trapped in the body, okay? The second thing is toxicity, and toxicity is everywhere. That's everything from the chemicals in our home that you heard Dr. Lisa Kellerman talking about yesterday, to people, right? When you see that person on your phone that's that total energy vampire and you're like, duh, I don't really want to answer it. Everybody has that feeling. They know who it is, right? But it's also poor nutrition, right? And I've heard a friend of mine coin this phrase, that sitting is the new smoking, a lack of movement, okay? And then genetics. So there's a lot of causes for underlying chronic conditions. The good news is most of these we can actually address, right? And it's mostly lifestyle adjustments. All right, so everything that you see, touch, and feel is vibrating energy, all of it. Our emotions vibrate at different levels. Believe it or not, something like perfectionism vibrates lower than fear. Guilt and shame are below fear. These are like some of the most unhelpful, unproductive emotions and will bring you down immediately. Now the good news is, at the top of the scale, you've got things like love and peace and joy. And one of my favorite techniques to move up the scale is to laugh. Okay, that is one of the best things that you can do to shift your vibration immediately. So hang out with funny people. It truly does help. All right, so your body, your organs, your DNA, everything is held by frequency, okay, and information. So the only way that we're coming to you live from the World of Wellness and streaming is energy, it's frequency. Right? And the receiver is whatever you're watching us on. So whether that's a computer, whether that's your phone, that's the receiver. Well, in the human body, it's the pineal gland that sends our signal out to the quantum field, right? It's our ears that translates that musical frequency and energy. So everything is held together by frequency, and that's where the information is carried. So I mentioned we're all protons, neutrons, electrons in this electromagnetic field, and that you need to look at emotion differently. It is really energy in motion. And when it's not in motion, that's when everything falls apart. That's when it causes dis-ease, dysfunction, or dissonance in your frequency. So our emotions, our self-limiting beliefs, our behavioral patterns, our old trauma is all stored in our subconscious mind, which is running the show 95% of the time. Do you believe that? All of that strategizing, figuring, calculating, Excel spreadsheet, number crunching crap up here in the 5% of the conscious mind. The rest of what's going on in you is in your subconscious. Well, that's really challenging because how do you know what's stuck in there, right? And that's what makes it so challenging and why you need someone to help you figure out what that is to get it up and out of the body. Because most of the time it's subconscious. We don't know what it is or where it's going. And sometimes we think we've actually processed something. Perhaps you went through a traumatic event, whether that was an accident, an injury, a divorce, something that was really tough for you. And you think you've worked through it, like you've gone to counseling, you've done the things, and then all of a sudden it comes up again because you haven't really dealt with the underlying emotional root cause or shifted the trauma up and out of the body. So that's some of the ways that this works. So you heard me say that things like perfectionism and guilt and shame vibrate lower. So if you look at the left part of the scale, that's 0, and then enlightenment, what we all are seeking, right, is at the top end of the scale. And this is really the map of consciousness, okay? Dr. David Hawkins actually wrote a book called Power versus Force, and he laid out the entire spectrum. So just like, you can yell at a flower and like it will eventually shrivel up. You've probably seen those experiments done. It's the same thing as if you tell the flower how beautiful you are and how much you love seeing it grow. I know that one of my favorite things to do is I have this hydroponic garden in my kitchen. And I always tell my plants, oh my gosh, look how beautiful you are. And I'm getting tomatoes, I'm getting cucumbers, I'm getting gorgeous flowers, even in the winter. So it's pretty cool. But it shows you the scale of consciousness, right? You can see how at the top end of the scale, the higher end of the scale, you've got love really in the center. And then above that, you've got joy and peace. Below that, you've got a lot of unhelpful emotions. And so when I do a soul intelligence session, we actually measure where you are at the beginning of the session and measure where you are at the end of the session. And you can always see somebody moving forward in progression. All right, so frequency healing. Sound or vibrational healing really promotes physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, okay? It can enhance your brain function and neurogenesis. It can diminish stress and anxiety levels. It can help alleviate pain. It can enhance your sleep and uplift your mood and decrease inflammation. All of that is according to Donovan Health Research. This isn't just Christine sharing that with you. It's actually documented. And when we look at frequency healing, okay, the brain waves, I just talked to you about the scales of consciousness. We've got different levels of emotions that correspond to each of these waves. You want to somewhere be in the alpha to theta state most of the time, okay? The alpha state is kind of this higher consciousness state. It's kind of like acceptance, reason, kind of you're at the higher end of that scale. When we move into theta, that's kind of when we're in that love state or that meditative state as you start to move up. Then you've got delta and then you've got gamma when people are completely blissed out. So if we look at this 2018 study that came from Frontiers in Psychiatry, there's a mood improvement. After 3 months of just vagus nerve stimulation, study participants that were suffering from depression saw a remission rate of about 17%, and after a year it rose to 33%. So Better Brain Health study in the Journal of Natural Science, Biology, and Medicine have also shown that vagus nerve stimulation increases that neurogenesis, the formation of new brain cells in the hippocampus, and that's the part of the brain that plays the big role in learning and memory. And we're seeing a lot of increase in brain diseases today, right? We're hearing a lot more about Alzheimer's, a lot more about dementia. So knowing that frequency can help shift that, start listening to some high vibe music. All right. You can also reduce your high blood pressure. Another study from 2018 that was published in the Journal of Traditional and Complementary Medicine, there were 54 participants that regularly performed vagal nerve stimulation techniques for 3 months, and that resulted in an 81% reduction in hyperreactivity. So the stress-induced blood pressure changes, and it lowered their blood pressure. So again, frequency is even shown to help blood pressure. So when you start thinking about what's high vibe music, well, there's lots available. One of my favorite artists is Anu Gama, A-N-U-G-M-A. It's instrumental, and it will help shift your vibration immediately. But if you actually Google it, or if you go into Apple Music and you say high vibe, it's going to show you the different frequencies so that you can tap into those different states. One of my favorite frequencies to listen to is the sound of ocean waves. So whether you have to put that on your iPod or you have the advantage of going to the beach, that is something that gets us back into natural rhythm immediately. Certainly.
Is listening to the frequency sufficient, or do you have to feel the vibration, like it's up against you or in an earphone, where you can actually feel the vibration of the frequency?
So the question is, can you just listen to it or do you need to feel it? And that's a trick question for me because my first sense is to feel. So I tend to feel music and vibration and frequency. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite things to do is to dance and to listen to music and go to concerts because you then have the opportunity to feel that vibration coming to you. So I would say it's probably a matter of personal preference and to just try and test that and see that. Do I need to listen to it in my ears? Can I just experience it and feel it, right? So if we start talking about the heart versus the brain, okay, the HeartMath Institute did a lot of research, and they showed that the heart's electromagnetic field is 100 times stronger and 5,000 times stronger than the brain. And think about how much time we spend with our brain. It's only a 2-foot wide energetic field. This is like a 6-foot wide energetic field. And it actually creates what they call a toroidal field, okay? So that's what that graphic shows. It's really a 3D vortex that extends out from you. And the brain only has 2 foot, right? And we spend so much time in there. We gotta get into the heart, we gotta get into the body. And when a vortex spins like that, it builds polarity. So it's both positive and negative. And polarity is what creates attraction. And that's how hearts can feel one another. So since one of my favorite conspiracy theorists is sitting in the audience, there's a reason why we were told to stay 6 foot apart, okay? They didn't want us feeling anything. All right, anyway. Love, empathy, and resonance are fields, not thoughts, okay? So energies, emotions, gratitude, peace, and joy makes your heart's vortex coherent. And so one of the things that I absolutely love is Dr. Joe Dispenza does a lot of meditations to get your heart and mind coherent. And then you send that signal out, whether that's a prayer, okay, or an intention into the field. That's what stimulates the electromagnetic field and brings something into you. But what actually collapses the particle wave and brings it into physical form is emotion. And that's why it's so important when you're doing your meditations that you're focusing on the emotion you will feel when you have whatever you're looking for, right? Whatever that life is that you want, or whether that circumstance is. You have to have the emotion in order for it to come into the field. So this is quantum physics, okay? So I'm going a little quantum, stay with me. So quantum physics, the way energy works, okay, way everything works, is you have to observe it, okay? So matter is energy in form, and energy responds to conscious direction. So you've always heard that sentence, where your energy goes, your attention goes, that's what has any impact whatsoever. Particles behave differently when they're observed. So your observation, your attention literally changes how energy organizes into matter. Our beliefs collapse into infinite possibilities into your current physical reality. And that's what I was talking about. When you send the intention out into the field, what gets the wave to collapse and comes back into you is that emotion. And that's actually what Neville Goddard said. Emotion is the secret. That's why The Secret, that book that was written a number of years ago, had it half right? You have to have that intention and that focus. But unless you have the emotion, it's not going to come into physical form. And our nervous system is actually a quantum receiver. That's how we translate energy and frequency. That's how we receive information. And so it's constantly broadcasting and receiving information from the field. That's why I talked to you about the vagus nerve, right? That's like the central channel. It's also why when we're constantly in fight or flight or freeze or fawn, our nervous system is always on, and why I told you stress is such an impact on our system. It's because the nervous system is the quantum receiver. And if you're constantly in that fight or flight state, you can't receive, okay? You're constantly on high alert, so your body doesn't have time to relax and receive what you want. So that's why it's so important to get calm and coherent and focused, because then you can send that clear energetic signal out that will reorganize your internal and external reality. All right, so the heart is the most powerful electromagnetic organ in the body, and it radiates a field that can be measured up to 6 feet wide. And so when your brain and your heart are in coherence, you actually generate that magnetic frequency that can reorganize matter and even influence your DNA expression. Okay, so that's coherent health. So together they form that electromagnetic blueprint that instructs the energy how to take form. And that's how intention-based healing and visualization, meditation, prayer, bioenergetic methods can actually create physical change. But you can't force matter to change through thought alone, right? That's why I said the secret didn't work. That was thought alone. It happens when your field becomes coherent. So your thoughts, emotions, and energy are aligned, so your biology naturally reprograms itself to match that frequency. That's why people are always telling you when you're trying to manifest something, envision yourself in that best version of you. Who are you with? What are you doing? What are you celebrating? How do you feel? That's what the body is going to respond to. That's what's going to collapse the energy into the field. So here's some really cool information. This just came out from Dr. Joe Dispenza's research, November 6th, actually, this month. It's called The Future of Medicine Exists in What We Think, Not What We Take, and it's from UC San Diego Research Lab. After attending a 7-day intensive meditative retreat, they found that it can trigger the same profound brain activity previously documented only by psychedelic substances. You can actually get a biological reset. And I got to tell you, I actually went to one this summer. And during one of those meditations, I felt like I was tripping out, okay? I read about it. I read about how you can be tripping out. But truly, like some of the activity, like you really, I know we shifted our brain chemistry. I know my body changed. So meditation produces these neural patterns similar to like what people would experience with psychedelics. And what that means is it's quieting the brain, okay? Getting it to calm down, getting the heart and mind in balance. And it induces states that are often associated with mystical experiences. I know I had an out-of-body experience. It was pretty trippy. And it provided me with really great insight. And actually is what prompted me to put together a weekend workshop where I'm teaching people my soul intelligence method for personal use, actually next weekend, December 13th and 14th. So if you're interested, you can go to my website, soulintelligencemethod.com, and send me a note, send me an email, or Christine@nutritionalfrontiers.com. I'd be happy to let you know how you can take that course. But what this does, right, is it actually gives you neuroplasticity in your brain, okay? So basically, it helps rewire your brain and induces personal transformation. It's natural pain relief, meditation. That's what I'm talking about, meditation, natural pain relief. You can also reprogram your epigenetics. And they measured the gene expression and the epigenetic markers, meaning like longevity, right? We're going to roll the clock back. That may also enhance stress resilience and long-term biological adaptation, meaning, yep, we might be able to roll the clock back. They saw telomeres in the brain lengthen. So it also boosts immunity, right? Because if you're not in fight or flight, your body's in a relaxed state. It has time to recover, and it has time to be coherent. So it's amazing what they just documented from the 7-day intensive meditation retreat. So when we talk about quantum physics, you know, you have to remember that your body is not just chemical. It's electric and photonic. That's why you're hearing so much about red light therapy these days, right? And the power that has to help heal us or even make us look younger. And yes, I have one of those wands. And it feels really good too because it's warm. All right. But when our cells are charged, our consciousness has the energy to reshape matter. So remember, consciousness directs energy, energy directs matter, and matter is going to mirror our consciousness. So you're not creating from thought, you're creating from frequency. All right, so let's talk about the ways that vibration is already helping to heal people. Anybody have one of these Theraguns? I know I do. All right, and it is it has been shown, according to the International Journal of Sports Physical Therapy, that you will lower pain scores if you use something like vibration therapy to help treat muscle pain. And so I've listed several different studies here that showed that the pain actually goes down following using those guns, right? The other thing that you could do is to use vibration therapy as a body workout. So you may have heard about these vibration plates. I think I've seen them at conferences and people are like, jiggling all around. It actually improves your muscle strength and power because the body perceives this vibration as instability. So even just 15 minutes on a vibration plate can actually be an entire body workout. So it can give you increased flexibility and range of motion and can actually help your muscles relax and improve circulation. So there's a lot of cool things. We do have vibration therapy here at the Wellness Center. So if you want to try it, today's the day. Come on down and you can see how your body responds. All right, chronic disease. This is probably my absolute favorite. According to Rice University, they have documented that good vibrations, what they call molecular jackhammers, can eradicate cancer cells. And what I show here in the slide is a healthy cell, when it's vibrating healthy, how coherent that looks. Look at that really beautiful pattern versus a cancer cell, okay? When they applied sound to that, what it looks like, right? It's nowhere near as a beautiful pattern or coherent. It's out of balance. So light-induced whole molecular vibration can actually rupture melanoma cell membranes. And the atoms of a small dye molecule used for imaging can vibrate in unison, right, which is what they call a plasmon. So when it's stimulated by infrared light, it causes the cell membrane of the cancer cells to rupture. And so according to the study that was published in Nature Chemistry, the method had 99% efficacy. That means it worked 99% of the time against lab cultures of human melanoma cells. And half the mice with the melanoma tumors became cancer-free after treatment. So this isn't science fiction. This isn't, Einstein's wish. This is actual proof that we're using vibration and frequency to cure cancer. All right, love this. Cleveland Clinic has finally come up to speed. Energy therapies focus on the connection between your mind and body, and they have endorsed using energy healing and are currently doing research on the benefits of energy healing after people have received cancer treatments to see if it can help boost the immune system. Now, we just talked about meditation as being a way to help boost your immune system. I know from attending the Dr. Joe Dispenza retreats, there's plenty of people in that audience that had tumors beforehand, went to the retreat, received what they called a coherence healing, which was basically sending love and energy and intention into them, and then come back and show that their scans are clear. So I know it works. I've seen it, and I know it. It's also worked in my own body. I had a cervical cancer scare at one time, and it was from years of suppressing my divine feminine. And at the time, I was like, what do you mean I have to get in touch with my divine feminine? What the heck does that mean, right? Do I have to grow my hair long? Do I need to wear long dresses, dance, what? And what it meant was I had grown up in a culture where women were devalued, okay? And I grew up in corporate America where I felt the need to act like a man, behave like a man, be crass like a man, no sports statistics, although I do enjoy sports, but just to try and be one of the guys, right? I used to make fun of people who were emotional at work. And I was so disconnected from my body at the time when they told me that I had an abnormal pap smear, and they did a biopsy procedure in the office and said, hey, you're gonna have to go to the hospital and get a conical biopsy procedure. So that's where they put you under, and they're gonna cut some of your cervix out. I was like, what? So I was pretty freaked out, but I was like, you know what, who cares? I'm done having kids. Just take all my parts out. I don't need them. But that's how disconnected from my body I was at the time. So I did everything I could. I went to an energetic acupuncturist. I talked to energy healers. I went to my functional medicine doctors, and I got all this information. And the first woman that I talked to said, you're not in touch with your divine feminine. And I didn't realize that I had been stuffing and trying to suppress my femininity for so long, it had to go somewhere. So the emotion went to the seat of womanhood, to my cervix, to get my attention, and said, okay, that's not okay. So I started reading about all these incredible women that were leaders and powerful, like going even back to like Egyptian times, like Sekhmet and Isis and all these great leaders, and Joan of Arc and all these incredible women. And realizing, wow, women are strong. Women can endure an awful lot of pain, and they are incredible leaders. And so I did that. I meditated. I saw my cells vibrating healthy. I listened to high vibe music. I did all the things. And so I had a girlfriend tell me before I went in for the procedure, she said, you know what, by the time you get there, it's going to be gone. I went, you know what, you're right. It is going to be gone. Sure enough, I'll never forget the look on my OBGYN's face when she came out and she said, we must have cut it all out because it's gone. I'm like, it's gone. So was it done in the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energetic? My answer is yes, because it's all the same and it's all connected. So this is where my method, the Soul Intelligence method, comes in. Okay, this is a revolutionary healing system that gets to the root cause of chronic conditions by addressing what's stuck in the body. Okay, what energy is no longer in motion, mentally, emotionally, physically. And the cool thing is, you don't have to do anything. You just showed up, online or in person, and that's all you have to do, is to be open to receive. It addresses specific past traumas without you having to relive them, and it can identify emotions and self-limiting beliefs or patterns or old traumas or roles that are trapped in the body that are really preventing you from healing completely. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple case studies, and then I think I'm going to give you a little taste of the Soul Intelligence method, all right? So I have made patient names up because I need to protect the innocent, as it were. But I did a remote Soul Intelligence session, and I discovered that the patient had a tremendous energy around her heart. And I saw she was really self-sabotaging. She wasn't taking her heart medications or her supplements. And so when I asked her about it, she said she wasn't. And so I had to have a really tough conversation with her. And I asked her, I said, do you want to stay here on earth because you not taking those medications are choosing to leave? And it's really your choice at this point. And so we worked energetically to alleviate her depression, her fatigue, her self-sabotage, her anxiety, and self-abandonment. I'm really glad to say that she decided to stick around. And with her permission, I called her MD naturopathic doctor, Dr. Jamie Mickey, and explained what we uncovered. And she reached out immediately to her to help refill her heart medication and the following Nutritional Frontier supplements that she needed, which was 7 flowers, which is great for blood pressure. This is actually my own blood pressure regimen here. CircuCore, which helps circulate the blood through the body, and Enter CoQ10, because CoQ10 is great for the heart. And it also has DMG in it, which is the ultimate methylator. So she's staying on the course, she's using her supplements, and she no longer needs heart medication, so yay. I know it, and she put herself first before caring for her husband, who's been suffering from Alzheimer's, which required a lot of care. And her spirits are really high, she's super positive about life again, and she's physically feeling so much better. Another case study, again, how Soul Intelligence and Nutritional Frontiers work together. I did a remote Soul Intelligence session, and I discovered that the patient had a tremendous amount of energy in his stomach and thoracic area. Now, at the start of the session, I could actually see over Zoom that his breathing was labored because he was using like a nose cannula for oxygen, and he was in a lot of pain. He had tried everything. Okay, he did traditional medicine, he went to the VA hospitals, everything, including naturopathic solutions, and he was nearly giving up hope. And actually, it was his wife that reached out to me. And what I discovered was the energy causing his discomfort wasn't even his. He had been holding onto the guilt and trauma for his entire company of 80 people for an incident that was from the Vietnam War, okay? And further work revealed he was also hanging on to guilt from a divorce that compounded this energy remaining in place, like this feeling of responsibility of what happened and holding on to it. And he'd been suffering for years. So after I removed the stuck energy and we figured out what this was, I recommended that he work with our Nutritional Frontiers medical director, Dr. Len Bransowitz. So Dr. Len ordered tests, he reviewed the patient's history and blood work, and what he found was that the patient had too much serotonin in his system. Serotonin is the happy hormone, right? That's produced in the gut. And he didn't have enough GABA in his system, which was causing the phantom pain, okay? It was real pain, but the traditional doctors couldn't figure it out. They couldn't find out what it was. That what happens is he had this pain in his abdomen and his chest, and nobody was able to diagnose it because medications for depression and anxiety are all dosed based on how many milligrams or kilograms per body weight. And when your pain increases, the medical model says more is always better. So they kept giving him more and more and more for the pain, and it created this incredible pain because his body was producing too much serotonin. So Dr. Len put him on Calm Day, which is something that we have here at the Wellness Center. Actually, if you want a sample of Calm Day, it's over there, and you can pick one up on your way out. I have Calm Day in my purse all the time because this is otherwise known as Mother's Little Helper or Natural Xanax. It's fabulous, all right? You never know when you're going to need it, or if you're driving in a car with someone who doesn't drive very well. All right, so Calm Day, you can take 2 to 5 a day. We put him on 2 to 5 a day. I would take 2 as kind of a, normal. But due to the GABA component in that. And so when the brain recognized the GABA levels are going up, the inflammation naturally calms down and his pain went down. And since the gut is where all serotonin is produced and excreted, Dr. Len also put him on Probzyme, a chewable, right? That's our probiotic and enzyme. That was Nutritional Frontiers' first product, also in my briefcase at every moment and every meal. And GI Complete, which is our incredible heal and seal the gut formula. And so the Lactospore probiotic negates and neutralizes the serotonin as well. So due to our energetic and nutraceutical approach, he is well on his way to recovery, and he's healing mentally, emotionally, physically, and I'm so excited. I actually have a checkup appointment with him this week, so super, super excited. So it's really cool when you get to help healthcare professionals too. So I had a pharmacist actually attend a Soul Intelligence session recently, and she wrote me that she had a debilitating condition for 3 years that caused her to be on disability. And she went on to say during that session that she finally had a sense of peace for the first time that she can recall since the condition appeared. And that's just from me doing a group session, okay? When I do a group session like you're going to experience in a few moments, I usually pick a theme, okay, so that it relates to everybody. But when I'm working with someone individually, I can really go deep to see what's going on specifically. So we did schedule a private session, and during it, I uncovered a trauma that had occurred 10 years prior where a patient had held her at gunpoint in a pharmacy. And that really is what started her decline in her immune function. So when you think about it, we talked about the scales of consciousness earlier, right? When you're in fear, right, you are way down the bottom, your body crashes, and your immune system, right, crashes, right? So that's one of the reasons why being in fear or constant stress lowers your body's ability to fight anything off. And you have to boost your immune system. So anyway, she has long haul COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome, and depression. So again, I pull in my buddy, Dr. Len. Since he's a pharmacist, she's a pharmacist, I thought, oh, that's a good way to go. And he is working with her now to help continue her path to healing on all levels while we work on some of the things energetically. And we've since had several sessions, and she's well on her way to recovery. All right? So how can you build your own frequency? I'm going to give you a few tips before I go into doing a session. So you heard me say earlier, right, we're also photonic beings, electric beings, besides these physical beings. So sunlight actually feeds your mitochondria with photons and helps you make ATP and gives you energy. So one of the best things you can do is to go outside first thing in the morning, get some early morning sun. You know, when you see the dogs like laying in the sun, they're all excited about it. There's a reason for that, right? It also gets that vitamin D going. Your glucose metabolism, right? Efficient glucose and thyroid activity gives you high voltage. Okay, so sugar management, that's one of the things that's most important. And by the way, yes, that is me in Sedona, and that is a real ellipse and energy coming in. That was a really fun moment. Minerals and hydration, right? Having the right levels of sodium, potassium, magnesium, keeping your cells the ability to conduct electricity. So those are all great things to have. I take our Mag Complete every single night because magnesium is the #1 thing that gets depleted in our body. It also gets you to chill out and go to sleep, so it's a good thing. Oxygen and movement. Movement increases the electron flow and the ATP output. So movement is great. I told you one of my favorite activities is dancing. Certainly walking is great. Anything that you can do to get your body moving. We have our resident yogi with us. Kara is an incredible yoga instructor. Yoga is also great to get movement and stretch going in the body. And then certainly our emotional coherence. The more often we can spend time in gratitude and in joy, it actually expands our electromagnetic field. Okay? So these are some of my favorite protocols that I put my clients on initially. Everybody needs this, okay? There's not one person out there that doesn't need a multivitamin and fish oil. So if you can handle it, that's kind of my basic foundation protocol, because everybody needs to get the good vitamins, minerals, nutrients in their body. And omegas really help everything. They help the brain, all kinds of good stuff. And then since I deal with stress so much as the #1 reason why people wind up seeing me, right? I always give them a protocol. Calm Day is a wonderful formula that I've talked about. But I also use Adrenamax to help regulate, adrenal function. That is really the stress response, right? So I usually do 2 Adrenamax in the morning and 2 at night to try and regulate cortisol in the body. If I'm working with someone that's been having insomnia, really struggling with sleep, I will introduce Sleep Time as a potential formula for them to take. I told you I love Mag Complete because it's all the forms of magnesium that you need. It's a great muscle relaxer, and since I'm a big tennis player, typically if I can't sleep, it's because I've got muscles that are achy. Yeah, you got it. So I will take 4 Mag Complete every night, and then Super B is really good for the brain, and it's also got a great calming effect. So I've actually added Super B complex back into my regimen. So a lot of things happen in the stomach. As a matter of fact, Hippocrates is the person who said that all health begins and ends in the gut. He only said it about 2,000 years ago. So one of the reasons why functional medicine focuses on the gut first is because that is where most things happen, okay? When I look at it energetically, your solar plexus, okay, it is in your stomach, okay? It's in the gut area. It's the core of who we are. It's how we, self-esteem is there, how we show up in there. Oh, if you stick around, I'll sign it for you. Okay, darling, next time. So if you think about what the solar plexus does, it's also, where our stomach is, right? And stomach has 2 functions, store food, process food. It's also where we store emotions and process emotions, or we don't. So when we think about it, how important the gut is, the stomach is, if you think about like you have to go make an important speech or something, you get butterflies in your stomach, right? Or something bad happens, you feel like you get punched in the gut. It is the first place. So it's not only how your relationship to self, how you feel about you, it's where all of the relationships in your life hit you first. So it's not a big surprise to me when I look at functional medicine and how much goes on in the gut that this is where we have to start. So often I'm telling people you should use our GI Complete and Probezyme because those 2 products together actually are a complete GI protocol. Then sometimes we put on weight in the middle in particular because we're trying to shield ourselves from stress. Okay, so there's actually an emotional component. So we have detox and weight formulas here at Nutritional Frontiers. Our Ultimate Shake and Proline Greens is a complete detox right there. But if you want to get a little fancy, you can throw in our Live Complete or our Remove Complete. So Remove Complete is a binder, and that's going to take any kind of toxicity out of the body. And so you could take 2 of those at night. I've done that as like my own personal cleanse every once in a while. It's really good. And Live Complete because our liver is the ultimate thing in our body that detoxes, right? And the way I drink wine, I got to detox my body. So I need my Live Complete, and I also need my Glucolyze to manage my blood sugar when I'm drinking my wine. Okay. Anyway, Nutriglutide is one of my favorite formulas, and I use that personally because it also helps regulate cortisol and blood sugar. And then if you're looking to have a weight loss regimen in particular, you can pair Nutriglutide and Thermogenesis together to get the fat burner in Thermogenesis without the stimulant, okay? Those of us back in the day remembered it used to be ephedra, and we're all like this, and we're just like, you're on speed, and that's how you lost weight. No good. We don't want that. We don't want the nervous system going bananas. So those two products together are great. All right. So these are ways to experience soul intelligence. You are going to get to experience it right here with me in a moment. But I'm holding my final free group session online Wednesday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you're interested in signing up for that, you can go to soulintelligencemethod.com. And you can sign up for that right on my website and get into that free. In 2026, I'm going to charge a very small monthly fee for people to participate in that, but this will be my last free one. And you could sign up for my mini Soul Intelligence Weekend Workshop. We're calling it SQ for you, because you got IQ, EQ, SQ. And that is going to be Friday, December 12th from 1 to 5, and Saturday from 10 to 2 online. So if you're interested in learning the Soul Intelligence Method, how you can use it yourself, you'll see me using about 30 charts, plus a lot of reference materials when I do a session. And when I train people to be neuroenergetic healthcare professionals who actually treat others using my method in wellness centers just like the World of Wellness, I use a lot more materials than what I'm teaching. I'm teaching about 15 charts. So it's really just personal use. And yes, Kara, if you feel like doing it, you can sign up for free, okay? Okay, benefit of being with NF, baby. All right, and if you know someone that needs a little zhuzh in their life, okay, you need a little something to help you out, you can certainly refer clients to me, schedule a one-on-one with me, again, at my website, okay? And you can pick up Healing Through Soul Intelligence here at the Wellness Center, and I will be here all day. If you would like me to sign your book, you're welcome to come down. I'd be happy to do that. As you can tell, we had several people going out with books, which is pretty exciting. All right, so you ready to experience soul intelligence firsthand? Yes. Everybody ready to get their zhuzh on? Yes. All right, Phil, you can take the PowerPoint off, and I will get going here. So we might run a little long, but we started a schmidge late, so hopefully that's okay. You know, we just flow with things here. Just water, flowing, doing it, feeling it. I love it. Okay. All right, so typically when I do a group session, what I like to do is I like to focus in on a theme, okay? And so the theme that I'm going to focus on today, I'm going to ask that you just, those of you who are here in person or those of you who are online, I just want you to kind of close your eyes down for a second, because one of the ways that we can get into the body, is to really just kind of shut down our senses. So get comfortable, get a little more comfortable wherever you're sitting if you can. And we're going to talk about a theme around this super full moon that just happened, okay? And what this full moon did is it really brought up the truth about your relationships, okay? And I want you to think about in your life who drains you versus who activates you. Who do you make yourself small for? Who are you done pretending with? Because this week the full moon was bringing it up for us. Also think about your boundaries. Okay, the boundaries that you ignore in particular, the ones your body is screaming for you to hold. The supermoon really brought them up this week as well. I want you to think about things maybe you've outgrown, whether that's an identity, a routine, a coping mechanism, maybe it's a job. You know, maybe it's the version of you that's too tight to fit anymore, or feeling like it's unbearable to keep enduring. I want you to also think about where you've been lying to yourself, like thing you say maybe to, or the thing you say not yet, or you know someday, or it's not that bad, okay? The next one, think about anything that you've been avoiding, a conversation, a decision, the truth you keep pushing down. Maybe your actual desires, not the acceptable ones, not the ones maybe your parents would have approved of, or not the ones society tells you are okay to have, the deep, inconvenient desire? Or what ending have you been stalling? Okay, what needs to end? You can either resist it or let it free you. So when you think about those things, I want you to think about that this is what we call a 9-year, okay? And a 9-year just means if you add up all the digits of 2025, it totals 9. That means conclusions. It means endings. So I want you to consider anything in your life that's no longer supporting you, that needs to end, so that you can enter 2026 in the one energy of 2026 and feel really good about what you're going to start and what you're going to bring into the new year. So we're going to release everything that's no longer serving us, okay? So for a soul intelligence session, all you have to do is to sit back and receive. So I just want you to feel your breath for a few moments. Just focus on it. I want you to think about everything you were thinking about before you showed up for this presentation and put it in a little box behind you. I want you to take everything you may still have yet to do today and put it in that same box. And I encourage you to be fully present right now for you. And I want you to focus on the center of your chest. And I want you to imagine that there is a brilliant spark of white light there. I promise you there is. It is the eternal part of you, that ever-present part, that spark of the divine within you. And with every breath, I want you to see that start to glow and grow and expand. See it move beyond the center of your chest, incorporating and spreading out to your torso, the top of your head, the bottom of your feet. I want you to see that light emanate from you like a brilliant star. See that light go straight through to the top of your head, up into the sky, straight down into the earth, anchoring you back here in the earth plane. And imagine that your arms are outspread wide and that your energy is shooting out in every direction. Let that be a gentle reminder that you truly are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I encourage you to call all that energy back into your physical body and see that form a column of light supporting your spine. And now that we're connected both with the divine and here on earth, feeling supported above and below, let's pray. Individually and collectively, let us connect to the divine, Mother, Father, God, Goddess, source of all that is. I ask that we connect to our individual soul presence, our higher selves, our respective soul families, our true original spark of the divine light within each of us, the I am all that I am presence. I humbly request that all of our spiritual teams of guides and guardian angels, archangels, ascended masters, ancient ones, wise ones, shamans, elders, star beings, all those beings of light who guide and protect us, that they be on hand and fully present at this time. I also ask that we connect to Mother Nature, Gaia, the nature spirits, the Fae, the Devas, the crystal plant and animal kingdoms, the four directions, and the elements of earth, fire, water, air, and ether. Together we acknowledge we are powerful spiritual beings expressing in human form. We know we are whole and perfect expressions of the divine. And we now accept healing for our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies. So it is. Amen. All right, the divine and I are one. Please connect to high self and prepare to guide. Thank you. Please put a triple light shield of unconditional love and light around Christine Genovese. Please put a triple light shield of unconditional love and light around every person watching in person or online. Thank you. Can I, may I, should I do the session? Is it in my best and highest good? Is it in the best and highest good of all? Okay, show me how many souls are in my body. Do I have the correct number of souls present? Am I connected to my high self? Am I connected to theirs? Where are my spiritual teams operating from? Ooh. Please clear, remove, replace, elevate, and educate all committee members to unconditional love or above for Christine. Okay, great. Okay. And where are their spiritual teams? Okay, that's why. Please clear, remove, replace, elevate, and educate all committee members to unconditional love or above for Christine. Please clear, heal, seal, close, and block with love and light any and all holes in my auric field. Okay, please clear, remove, replace, elevate, and educate all community members to unconditional love or above for everyone here. Okay, great. Are we right? Are we up? Okay. Today I would like to clear everything that's in everyone's best and highest good for their best and highest timeline, this lifetime timeline dimension as well as any other. I'm going to ask that if anything needs to move, shift, or clear, that it be immediately sent back to the divine for transmutation into love and light. Unless it's of a lower force nature, then I'm going to ask that it return to the underworld to restore the balance between dark and light, whatever's for everyone's best and highest good. Amen. All right, and please put a triple light shield around this wellness center, any person, plant, animal, car. Thank you. Okay, and away we go. Okay, so I'm just going to clear some lower force energy. Just like there's great angelic beings, there are also lower force beings that tend to hang out. So I'm just going to shift those for us. Please clear all deliberate lower force beings, type 2 separates. Please clear all hidden lower level beings, hidden separates. Please clear all lower level beings, type 1 separates. Please clear all separate shadow energies and programs. Great. Alrighty. Okay. Cool. All right, so now we're going to go to something called archetypes or patterns. You heard me talk about perfectionism earlier, so let's clear the perfectionist inner archetype. Ooh, let's clear the lover inner archetype. Now you're going to want to know what that one is. Please clear the visionary inner archetype. All right, so I'm going to share that with you. So archetypes are patterns that can help us when they're light, and they can be a little bit more challenging if you're going through and experiencing the shadow aspect of it. But the lover inner archetype can manifest in anyone who has a great passion and devotion to another person, but it could also be to what you're passionate about, like art or music or gardening or natural healing, okay? It includes unbridled affection for and appreciation of someone or something that influences the organization of your life and environment. So sometimes, you know, that is a great thing, right, to have that partnership and connection with another. In shadow, it can be exaggerated or an obsessive pattern or passion that has a destructive effect on your physical or mental health and self-esteem. So when we're talking about boundaries, not holding them, that could be where this is showing up for you. If we talk about, you know, maybe organizing your life around another person and making them more important than yourself and making yourself small, that was also something that came up. So just kind of think about how that resonates with you and ask if passionate enthusiasm or romantic love plays a dominant role in the overall design of your life and self-worth, because sometimes people feel like they need a partner to feel whole or be one. So thinking about those things. Oh, that's interesting. Alrighty. Let's see where else we're going to go. Oh, and the visionary. That was it. Sorry. Sometimes from here to here, it doesn't go. Okay. So the visionary lets you imagine possibilities that are beyond the scope of your individual life and benefits all of society. So like having a higher calling or a higher mission, like making the world healthy, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically. It brings into view what could be certain if choices are made, and what is inevitable given choices that have already been made. So the visionary in shadow can manifest as a willingness to kind of sell out or alter your vision to make it more acceptable to other people instead of holding what you believe your vision to be true. So look for a long-term passion to see beyond obvious or momentary actions to perceive the large pattern. So I think what it's saying is, right, we're talking about leaving 2025 behind and moving into 2026. What is your vision for 2026? What do you want to see manifest in your life? And don't give up on your vision, right? Regardless of age, we all have the opportunity to follow our passion and change our course any day. Okay. Let's clear blocks to trustworthiness. Let's clear blocks to feeling resilient. Let's clear blocks to feeling brave or courageous. Let's clear blocks to feeling confident. Let's clear blocks to feeling peaceful. Amen. Let's clear blocks to feeling receptive. Let's clear blocks to healing. All right, now we're on these toxic masculine and feminine qualities. Let's clear out that bully tyrant energy. I wonder where that's coming from. Let's clear out narcissistic energy that might be in the field. Let's clear abusive energy out of the field. Let's clear controlling energy out of the field. Let's clear destructive energy out of the field. Let's clear ignoring energy out of the field, oppressive energy out of the field. Let's clear anger. Let's clear blame. Let's clear this feeling of like power over rather than power from within. Let's clear any cunning or sly energy out of the field. Let's clear any guilt or shame that we're holding on to that's no longer serving, never serves. Please clear any self-deprecating energy. Let's clear out worry. Let's clear out neediness. Okay. We're going to go to positive energies, emotions, and thoughts. Let's clear any blocks to optimism. Let's clear blocks to tolerance. Let's clear blocks to sobriety. Let's clear blocks to joy. Let's clear blocks to love of life. Let's clear blocks to love of self. Let's clear blocks to pleasure. Let's clear blocks to divine love. Let's clear blocks to friendliness. Let's clear blocks to helpfulness. Let's clear blocks to admiration. Let's clear blocks to clarity. Okay, anything else? All right, we're going to go through a couple of self-limiting beliefs to see what else we can shift here before I download some good stuff. Please clear the self-limiting belief, I'm not wanted. Please clear the lifetime, please clear the program, please remove from the body, mind, and soul records, and please burn, branch, and seed into infinity from the point of origin as if it never was on all levels of consciousness. Please do it for this lifetime, timeline, dimension, as well as any other. Strike it from the Akashic records, pull it from the back of our hearts. Include rebuilding mirror images, replications, clearing it all the way down to the cellular level, erasing it from the cellular memory for all times, always. Amen. And so it is. Please clear the self-limiting belief, I'm worthless. Please clear the lifetime, please clear the program, please remove from the body, mind, and soul records, and please burn, branch, and seed into infinity from the point of origin as if it never was on all levels of consciousness. Please do it for this lifetime, timeline, dimension, as well as any other. Strike it from the Akashic records, pull it from the back of our hearts. Include rebuilding mirror images, replications, clearing it all the way down to the cellular level, erasing it for the cellular memory for all times, always. Amen. And so it is. Please clear the self-limiting belief, I am not enough. Please clear the lifetime, please clear the program, please remove from the body, mind, and soul records, and please burn, branch, and seed into infinity from the point of origin as if it never was on all levels of consciousness. Please do it for this lifetime, timeline, dimension, as well as any other. Strike it from the Akashic records, pull it from the back of our hearts, include rebuilding mirror images and replications, clearing it all the way down to the cellular level, erasing from the cellular memory for all times, always. Amen. And so it is. All right. Is there anything else that needs to move, shift, or clear before I close? Okay, so one of the things, once we take out some of the stuff that's no longer serving us, I try and put some good stuff back in. So let's please download all power, love, light, wisdom, and understanding to our bodies and energy bodies for our best and highest good. Okay, I do actually have a Nutritional Frontiers chart that I use sometimes to see what else somebody might benefit from during a session, and if they feel called to take it, they can. Sweet chestnut is a Bach flower remedy. So this is Bach flower remedy, essential oils, things like that. So sweet chestnut helps with extreme mental anguish or feeling like you have no way out. Please download eucalyptus to help us rejuvenate. Please apply hornbeam, which helps us with tiredness at the thought of doing. I guess everybody needs a little time out today, huh? Relax. Clematis helps us when we dream of the future. It helps us be more present. I got you thinking about the future already. Please download all healthy masculine and feminine energies to our body and energy body for our best and highest good, especially self-love and care. We could all use a little more of that. And there are different charts that I have, different things that I could potentially download. Sometimes there's, other other deities that might help us. Okay, somebody needs help with budget and accounting. So we're going to download helping with budget and accounting. Oh my God, Kara, that's so funny. You were working on your numbers. Oh, that's hilarious. Please download Following Through. All right, so these are career and work things that support people. That's just hilarious, honey. I have a nutrition, health, and wellness chart. Please download the best of nutrition, health, and wellness to everybody's body, energy body. So that could be anything from vitamins to certain things to help us with rest. Yes, please download rest to our bodies, energy bodies. We've had a busy week. Please download natural healing therapy. So there's lots of things there, from chiropractic to cloud therapy, like we have here at the Wellness Center, to red light therapy. Please download to everybody's body, energy body. Please download the best of physical healing to all of our organs and glands. Like I told you, a lot starts in the stomach, but there are different places we hold energy, right? Sometimes, if you have a pain in your neck, it's not that you slept wrong, it's that your husband's driving you crazy because it's the right side. It has to be him. All right, please clear everybody's body systems for our best and highest good. All right. Please download the best of change and freedom to our bodies, energy bodies for our best and highest good. Please clear liberation from work. I think everybody in NF is tired. Okay. Please download all positive energies, emotion, thoughts to our body, energy body, especially joy. Yay. All right. Anything else? Please apply supportiveness to our bodies, energy bodies. Yes, ma'am. Love it. All right, is there anything else that needs to move, shift, or clear? Okay, remember, energy, once it's created, it can't be destroyed. It has to be transmuted, and that's why I set up protection. I ask that it shift back to the divine. All right, so please conclude this session and finalize all details. Does my higher self agree all is complete? Does theirs? Thank you so much to the divine of all that is. Thank you to all the unseen beings who are always here guiding us, loving us, and supporting us. Thank you so much for this gift of healing and the ability to fulfill my life purpose by sharing the power of soul intelligence with others. Amen. And so it is. So as I mentioned to you, if you're interested, I do a full hour session. I will hold that Wednesday, December 9th at 6 o'clock. And you are welcome to join me. All you have to do is to go to soulintelligencemethod.com, and you can sign up for that. I also have a mini SQ for You workshop that I'm running, where it's for personal use, so you can actually learn how to use maybe 15 charts to just kind of clear things. So a lot of health charts, emotional things, not going as in-depth as what we went into today. But it will be a really nice way for you to kind of just take care of your own energy on a weekly basis like I do. And you can certainly schedule one-on-one with me. So if you're going through something right now and you need a little mental, emotional, energetic support, you come see Dr. Molly here at the Wellness Center for a biomechanical adjustment. You come to see me for a bioenergetic one. So you can also, if you're really interested in pursuing helping others, you can consider becoming a neuroenergetic healthcare professional and learning how to use the whole system. So maybe you take the Soul Intelligence workshop, you get a little zhuzh, you get it going for you, and then you're like, I want to do this for other people, and you want to become certified. And the last way you can, get to know me a little bit, you can purchase my book, Healing Through Soul Intelligence. It is available here at the Wellness Center, and I am available to sign books today. But also it's available on Amazon. It's also on Audible. And yes, I recorded it myself out in a studio in LA. And I've actually been told that people have listened to it and experienced a healing because it's actually me sharing it. So that's pretty cool. And one of our amazing clients, top clients in Tampa, Dr. Lisa Coach, wrote the foreword to my book. And she's a triple board certified MD. And she's also on Tony Robbins' medical team. So it's pretty cool to have her endorsement and support. All right, if you are interested in learning more about Christine, you can go to soulintelligencemethod.com or nutritionalfrontiers.com or wowpgh.com. So there's lots of ways for us to connect, and I wish everybody a healthy, happy Saturday, and thank you for joining me live and in person.